I just made a few slides on that as well, so that you can have a look at it once we do this particular area, right? So the external analysis is going to give us the opportunities and threats. That's our part of our SWOT matrix. And now the strategic capability will give you the internal perspective of an organization, which is going to which we will be talking about the strength and the weaknesses. Yeah. So few areas that we will cover quickly and move on. If you take on the foundation, if you look at what the capabilities is going to refer to the resources and the competencies. Certain books interchangeably uses this capability and competencies, so don't get confused. Keep it in like, use one particular source, then you're fine. So strategic capability is going to be a combination of your resources, what you have, and the competencies, that is how you're going to make use of those resources. Yeah. So that's the combination is what you call it strategic capability to go off with. So if you look at the resources on a broader perspective, tangible, intangible, I'm sure in your case that you find enough tangible resources and also enough intangible resources in the form of license and patent rights and the formulas and etc. Yeah. What they do is like they try to break these resources into four major categories: physical, financial, human, and intellectual capital. So if you look at the physical resources, the main categories that you could see in the case that there are enough information about so much of physical resources available. They're not given in detail, but then on the case that we could understand and see how intensely they use their physical resources. Now, how come these capabilities can give you a competitive advantage? Yeah. So if you have your resources and the competencies, how you make use of your resources? Yeah. There's something called threshold capabilities, and there are something called the competitive advantage. Yeah, capabilities for competitive advantage. Now, threshold capabilities are the capabilities which you will have a minimum to serve your customers, right? Obviously, if you have if you are going to have a farm, then obviously you might have the cows in it. But on the other hand, what would give you that advantage is that where the cows, which gives you more milk. Yeah. So if it is a threshold resource as a cow, it will give you an average milk. But then the good cows, they have mentioned names of those the categories as well. Now those cows would give you better yield, better profit. So those are the things that that will give you a competitive edge over your competitors, because you can get better yield than your competitors when you go on. Now, saying that, on the other hand, the competencies would be like there would be certain way that the milking would take place. But then with your advancement, with your technological advancement, with your commitment, what you make off with, that's going to give you that competitive advantage. So your competencies, which will give you a better advantage than your competitors, which you call them as core competencies. Yeah. So you will have a normal set of resources, just threshold resources, normal set of resources, which will meet your customer requirement. That's called the threshold resources. And the threshold competencies, which is generally you need to minimally need to meet your customer requirement. When you call about the unique resources and the core competencies, now that's where you're going to get your competitive advantage coming in. Yeah. So your competitive advantage would come in these two areas. So these two areas will give you that competitive advantage to go off with. Very clearly, they have indicated so many core competencies what BM has, as well as the so many resources that the organization has in different perspectives. Where do they get that experience? Where do you get that cost savings to an organization? How can you get that cost savings to the organization to have that competitive edge or competitive advantage? Yeah. The organization has enough experience. They have been there for some time now. They have experience in managing bigger farms, having a good connectivity with the farmers to get their products in and so forth. So that experience gives them a better advantage. And also the design, how the products are made, how the products are being, the way that they are manufacturing, the way that they are moving on. So all these processes, the way they manufacture, how they have designed their product. Now, for example, the new product, what they have identified in the form of infant formula, and so those kind of new product which they create, those designs would give them that competitive advantage. The economies of scale, obviously we know that when you have a better economy of scale, your cost of production could be lower. So when your cost of production is lower, then probably you can sell it at a right price. The organization been having a concept of fair pricing. They are one of the major pillars that they are looking at, the fair pricing. Fair pricing in the sense to the farmers and also to the consumers. So it's essential that they are producing at a optimum level to obtain that economy of scale, so that they could deliver the product what they are selling, because that is their core element. Yeah, repeatedly it has been mentioned. We will cover that area. So therefore, that economic scale will give them that advantage to work things out. They're managing the supply cost, so now that gives that cost efficiency in different perspectives. They're given the breakdown of cows cost per day, comparatively whether they are doing good, how that works on. So you could work out their margins with the cost of the the liter what they give off. So you can see that organization has a element of cost efficiency built on their part. Now, when you look at the competitive advantage, yeah, when you look at the competitive advantage and when you look at how do you sustain that competitive advantage, your consumers should be able to see, make sure that what you produce and what the product what you have, the resources what you use to make those products, a valuable one. Yeah, so that has to be a valuable product. They should see that value. They see a value when they feel that they get a deal out of it. Yeah, so when they buy, when they purchase, they should feel comfortable that they are paying the right price for the high quality product what is being sold by that organization. This has been emphasized in the case in different aspect that the customers, consumers get that best product at the right price, because that is their main, one of the main element, one of the two major reasons that they have been created. So that when they see that, you could have that your advantage, your competitive advantage would be able to be sustained. Then the next element, you should see that the product, what the organization gives you, is it rare? Now, unfortunately, the product is not rare. There is no major uniqueness, but then this is the reason that they are trying to work out and go into a area, divest into an area where they could get the uniqueness of the product, where they could maintain it, going into the the nutritional aspect of it, looking at the world population, getting into the elderly population increasing right throughout. So there is a need in that particular segment where you need to have nutrition food coming in. So the right track that they have identified according to the external environment where they want to move in, so that they could produce a rare which could be valued by the customer. Then that should not be able to be copied. Now, this is where it's very important, where your processes are secured. You have a quite a long, good culture and history. You have a cautious ambiguity coming in, so that people might not know why you are very good at. So it will be difficult for them to understand the combination of the product, and your customers, your competitors should not be able to copy the product. One of the major reason of the divestment is also that, because they are in the manufacturing process of a generic products, like everybody could have the similar product being made, but when they go on creating and having a relationship with Nestle to create a product, that's where that you could see that your product is not going to be imitated. Then the substitution part, whether your product could be substituted, whether the product is because you could see this is the products what they are manufacturing due to the knowledge development and the environmental development and the education level development of the people. People are moved into health conscious situation. So it will be difficult they would prefer to have a good product so that they could have a balanced diet. So then replacing this element from their food might be difficult, which to be substituted. Whether the organization, the last element, whether the organization is going to be dynamic, in the sense like you talk about the dynamism part, where in difficult environment, organizations shows their ability to ride with the wind. Now, so for example, you could see the Frosty Bite had a problem with COVID-19. They were in trouble. They were not be able to manage the the adverse condition. So they the reason that they are looking for a they have to have some financial assistance to work things out. So now the reason is that they were not be able to be dynamic in the adverse conditions. So maintaining or sustaining that competitive advantage, although they are products are valuable, their products are authentic, which are rare. Their products were pretty good with different flavors and authentic flavors coming in, which are difficult to imitate. And also, they established themselves as a good ice cream, because that was the idea when the the entrepreneur started off with, wanted to provide high quality ice cream to Bangladesh. Yeah, so then now, but with that growth, the organization they will not be able to sustain, they will not be able to be dynamic in a changing environment. So because of that, you could see that, they have been in, a difficult situation. The value chain analysis would be ideal if you can make out where the value chain would tell you, like, where the cost pools and also where value additions coming in, because it's a organization, manufacturing organization. So that is possible to work it out to see how it goes on. So furthermore, tools that you can use to diagnose your internal capabilities, internal aspect of it is the value chain or value network, your benchmarking, activity maps. Then finally, you can combine both into the SWOT matrix to go off with. As you're aware, I'm not going to go through each and every area of the value chain, but then inbound logistics, where you get your milk, bring it in, store it in, test it out, make sure that your testing is done, your product is acceptable. Then you take into operation area, convert into final product, then you sell it out to your customers, distribute it. Then focusing on marketing and sales, we could see multifaceted marketing and sales approach is by the organization in so many different perspectives, in digital aspect as well. And obviously, they are in the service factor, where they face the customer complaints and other perspectives with regard to the product. So the operations could be mapped out to see where actually they are having the value addition, and also how that could be sustained to have better margins to go off with. The value network is going to be a network of your supplier to your customer, or the channel, and to your customer, right? If you embed your value chain, yeah, for example, your inbound logistics would be your supplier's outbound logistics. Your outbound logistics would be your inbound logistics of your channel, yeah. And so then when it's embedded, when you have that linkage, then you create that value network, yeah. So the value network links up your customers and also your suppliers, the entire network. If there's any change in the customer preference requirements, immediately that will reflect on your channel marketing and sales. That channel marketing and sales, that will definitely reflect on your own marketing and sales. When that reflects on your own marketing and sales, that in return, the suppliers marketing and sales will be notified, so that the relevant products could be changed, relevant raw materials could be changed, the total production process could be changed. Yeah. So that's the main advantage when you have that value network to work on when you work it out. Benchmarking could be on three major aspects of it. You could see where you are good at comparatively. Quite a less information with regard to the benchmarking here in your case. But you could identify certain elements where that you have been good. Yeah, you have been your organization been good in most of the areas. So you could have a internal benchmarking, like, you know, last year what did I do this year, how I am performing. That is one. Then you can have a comparison benchmarking, that is with your industry, with your competitors. You can benchmark to see whether how well you are doing, how are you managing your cost, how are you managing your distribution cost, how are you managing, you know, the certain elements, your reworking cost and things like that. How are you managing? So that you can have a you know, the benchmarking activity to make sure that, you know, to identify which area that you are good at, yeah, and which area that you get to improve. And third one, you can always go and benchmark yourself with best in class. Now, say for example, Formula One, Mercedes team was benchmarked with British Airways. British Airways want to see how well that they refuel. Yeah. So refueling on Formula One, Merck team, they wanted to see how quickly they refuel without any accidents, without any incidents, without any narrow misses. Yeah. So with all those things that you could, and these two are in two different industries. Yeah. So you could have a benchmark with someone totally outside your industry, what they do best, and you could benchmark it up with that particular organization to see whether you also can achieve that particular level of higher quality. Yeah. Right. Now, this is something very interesting, like, you know, identifying where you're getting that competitive advantage, where you're getting that edge over others. This is a activity map of an airline where you could see that different ways that how they manage to get the best out of you know, every aircraft, right? The Southwest Airline is one company which didn't go bankruptcy after 9/11 attack. Still, they are rated as one of the best airline. Of course, they had few issues, but then still they have been rated as one of the best airline for the you know, budget travelers. You know, they have found different ways to manage. Unlike other major airline companies, they use only one type of aircraft, which is Boeing 737s. So what does it tell you then? Like, every single employee knows about the 737s very well, because that's only aircraft that they use, including your air hostess to the technicians. So technicians also would know, you know, blindfolded, he could tell whether there is a issue, or when inspection will be much more easier, because he knows where to see, what to see, right? So with all those things, that their turnaround time is very, very good, 10 minutes. It's really good, because the number of you know, hours you're on air, the airline is aircraft is on air, you make your money. So you could see they don't stay for 1 hour, they don't stay for 45 minutes, 50 minutes, or 1.5 hours, or 2 hours. They come, drop the passengers, take the other passengers, within 10 minutes they turn around. Yeah. So this is what you see when you link up how it is possible, which helps them to do that. That includes their selling, no intermediaries, direct sales. So that means what? No credit. That means no debtors. Money is already paid in advance. So with all those things, now when you could easily identify and understand where which areas that you are excelling, which area supports you to be better on your competitiveness. Now, so combining your OT, what you did on the previous class session, and identifying your strengths and weaknesses on this session would give you this complete diagnosis of your the SWOT matrix. Yeah. So SWOT matrix combines your external as well as internal elements. Yeah. So externally, you would identify the opportunities and threats. Internally, you would identify your strengths and weaknesses. Right. The next area that will move on to the strategic choices. Yeah. What could be done with what you have identified? Yeah. It could be on business level. It could be on corporate level. It could be on international. For this case, this area might be important. Innovation and also evaluation. The strategic choices means like, how you're going to, what are the bases of the future, right? It includes your business unit as well as on the corporate level, right? So that, we can see, we can develop the strategies in terms of your direction that you're going to take, as well as your method of development. Right. Quick checklist. You could see the first area, strategic position. This area, we understood that we need your strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats. So your strategic position, your internally and externally could be identified. You could see that element over there. I will touch upon the culture a little bit later. Once I finish this particular area, I will touch upon the culture, which the questions were raised on last time. Some raised that question, so I'll touch upon the culture. When I went through the case, like I didn't feel that there was something very critical, but nevertheless, we will see how that would help us in the analysis part. Now we are looking at the choices. Yeah. Number one, what should business units compete? How do we compete? The portfolio that we carry. You could see MBA has enough portfolios to work things out. Where should the organization compete internationally? Yeah. And also the organization's innovations, plus whether they would want to hold hands, or whether they could go alone, or whether they want to, on what basis they want to grow. Yeah. So that's where the choices comes in. So this is the area that we are going to quickly cover. I'm sure y'all know, but then this might be helpful when we go look at your case and where you can make your choices to go off with. As a business level strategy, like you could look at strategies based on competitive strategies. You can sustaining your competitive advantage, and also competition and collaboration. That is also possible to work off with, right? When you look at the business level strategy, generally the business level strategy is the sandwich between your corporate level and your operational level. It calls the competitive strategy. And how do we compete? Yeah, just think of it. How do we compete in normal circumstances? Any organization, even a small organization outside, how do they compete? Either they compete on the quality of the product, that means they are differentiating themselves, or they compete on the pricing. So that means you should be working on a cost leadership, so that you can work on a pricing difference. I'm not saying low price. So low price that you can maintain if you are on a cost leadership. Yeah. So fundamentally, those are the two ways, right? So we'll try to expand that. Porter's generic strategy talks about on a the industry-wide or bigger area-wide differentiation or overall cost leadership, and then they are looking at the focus level. So that could be like cost focus, and yeah. So this is focus differentiation, and this is cost focus area, right? So that's how it's been split. In your view, where does the organization currently, on what basis they are competing? In your view, think of it. Okay, I don't want the answers, but in your view, where it is? Do you think that they are working on a differentiation strategy to work out, or do you think that they are working on a overall cost leadership? How does their vision and the mission looks like? What do they want to do? What are the information that you find in the case? What are the evidence that you have, the way that they are competing? These are the questions that you should be able to answer now, definitely. And also, are they on the right track? Is that the way that they want to go? Is it the way that they need to compete? Yeah. Now, saying so, this was developed by Bauman on the strategic clock in different aspect of it. Yeah. Bauman said, look, guys, you can go on a no frill strategy, low price, low value addition. Nobody's going to ask you the question when you give a cheaper product, because they know that it is a cheap product with no frills, nothing attached to it, right? Or you have a low pricing, or you have a hybrid, or you differentiate yourself, or focus differentiation. There are certain other strategies which might destined to fail, but still organizations can use it. No frill strategy, if you're looking at the low value addition, low cost, do you think that organization is here? You answer that. Yeah. Do you think that the organization is here? In my view, no, because I don't think they are giving you something, a low value added product with a low price to work off with. Yeah. So, but generally this is okay for a commodity market. Now, what is the market that you're in? The milk product. Yeah. You could see they're talking about the mass market as well as the other products also that they are looking at. Yeah. So if they're looking at a mass market, if you're looking at a commodity kind of milk product, then can they be here? But that need to be now this might be your informal networking, where we have evidence that 20% of the milk does not come into the formal distribution. 20% of the milk being purchased without being testing the quality of the milk, and which they don't mind getting a lower price, so that the distributor or the person who buys over from them sells through the informal channel might be working on this particular strategy. Yeah, low price, low value addition. There is nothing. So straight away from that particular, from the farmer, they purchase. No testing of the quality, no testing of the bacterial impact, no testing of anything else. Straight away, send it off to the consumers. I've added on this read through for the case. It's not important, so I'm trying to skip it out. Yeah. Low price. Now, this could be something that, you could think of. You could think of a low price, because if your cost efficiency is very high, if your process is very good, and if you can lead the industry on cost aspect of it, you could sell it at a low price. Now, when you sell it at a low price, fundamentally what are you doing is like you're not uh, uh, delivering a low quality product. Okay, you're delivering a similar quality of your competitors, but at a lower price. Now, what will happen? You will start a price war. Yeah, you'll start a price war, obviously. Okay, the competitors are not going to keep quiet, right? Now, is that the way that you think that the organization should move, or is that the way that the organization is operating? Now, these are the questions that you need to ask, right? The third element is like is the hybrid. So before I go into the hybrid, let's look at the differentiation. The differentiation model obviously is similar to Porter's generic strategy differentiation. Your product has been differentiated. People know that your product is a high quality product, so they don't mind paying a slight premium, like currently we pay. It doesn't matter, because if you know the product quality is high and there is, you can easily trust the product and consume it, then it's not a so then you don't mind paying 5% premium to get that particular product to work things out. Now, the hybrid model is going to be in between both. Okay, hybrid model is going to be in between your low price and the differentiation. Ideally, in my view, the organization, in my view, okay, you could have different views. My view, the organization could use this particular strategy because of the advantage what they have with their, on the processors, and also which supports the element of their vision and mission. Fair price is something very, very important. Innovation is something that they are looking at, to grow the from their 4 pillars that they are talking about it. And because of this advantage what they have, they could work on a good product, giving you at a better pricing than your competitors. So the hybrid would be something very interesting. It doesn't mean that you have to compromise on your quality. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to compromise on your quality. So you could see, like, when you have a greater volumes, then you could do that, right? And the most importantly, now that is greater volume that you're looking at your economies of scale. Okay, most importantly, you have been number 2 in the market. Obviously, there may be a huge gap between number 1 and number 2 and number 3, because 3 companies have 80% of the market share, right? And the first company is having 50% of the market share. So both the rest of you all, both of you all have only about 30% of the market share, which is not very conclusive that what's your market share would be. But anyway, you're number 2. Yeah, you're behind number 1. So probably you might be ending up at about 17-18%. So that means that you have a fairly decent size in the market. So that could be pretty important or pretty good if you could grab better market share on a stagnant market. That market is getting stagnant because we could see by 2030, Bangladesh could be self-sufficient. Yeah. So when Bangladesh is self-sufficient, there is very less area for them to grow. So then the market becomes saturated. When the market becomes saturated, then you need to fight to get your market share up. Obviously, with the population, the volumes grow. but still, it's not going to be, you're not filling the gap, right? You're taking what is there in the market. So with a good chunk, with a good 20% market share, if you could beat your, the main competitor, market leader, who's having 50% of market share, and then you could use this as a strategy and get your cost reductions outside, the differentiated area. Don't try to compromise on your quality. Sorry, guys. Right. Don't try to compromise on your quality. Right. It has to be outside the differentiated areas. There are two organizations which does this. One is a supermarket, and another one, is it's a manufacturing organization. IKEA, how do they do it is, imagine flat packs. They palm on certain activities to the consumers. They don't transport it to the consumer's house. Consumer takes it, so that final transportation cost is zero. Assembly is done by the consumers, so your final labor cost is also done. Now, with using of these packaging style and everything, IKEA able to give you a better price without compromising the quality. So organization could work on this angle. Might be they could be grow in the future. This is my view, my aspect of it. Probably currently they are there. Maybe they might have to continue, or the next one, what we saw was the differentiation, differentiate your product from others, looking at the market. That is what the chairman wanted to differentiate, go on to a newer area, the nutrition area, dedicating a plant, dedicating a factory, moving out and working on that nutritional aspect of it, so that you could have better margins. And it says so. It says so. Focus differentiation, obviously it's a niche strategy. Like you might have to focus on very much focus on certain areas, which you might have to come out with niche product to service the niche customers, which the market might be very much smaller. So maybe that's a holy grail: higher margins, higher revenues, and to work things out. For example, Ducati, Warren, Molina watch, this cigar which is sold at $750 per stick. Don't get surprised. So these are high-end products which gives you that particular edge. Whether the company could work on one of these areas, giving that extremely high quality, high price, high end product to the market, if there's a market requirement to work on it, well, you need to suggest and see whether it is possible. The rest of the strategy is high price, no differentiation. I don't think the company is going to work on that. High price, the worst product. You can't have a worst product to go on with. Same price, worst product. So these strategies would fail. Now, you would see when they had issues, when they had problems with their infant formula, when they had issues with the infant formula, obviously they would have sold at a higher price, and the product was a worse product. they cannot sustain with that particular strategy to go off with. Unfortunately, the company would have not noted it. Company would have missed it out completely. That's what it says. Yeah, lack in their controls, lack in their the formulation, lack in their production supervision. So with all those aspects, losing out the additional 200 million Bahrain takas to cover up or to communicate and through the product recalls, it might be difficult to sustain your competitiveness with this kind of strategy. This could be one-off to go off with, but not every time. So looking at your competitive advantage sustaining on price base, probably if you're looking at the price base, you could operate with lower margins. That depends on the volumes that you're looking at. Yeah. So probably you could go with the lower margins. Now, this is what, for example, your morning when you go to buy newspapers, or now of course that habit is no more because you get your newspapers online. Other people go in the morning to buy newspapers. When they buy newspapers, they don't stop only buying newspapers. They buy the bread, they buy something for breakfast, they buy the eggs, or addition. So then now that's where you're going to get that advantage. You could sell it at with a lower margins, because newspapers maximum they might get about 50 cents or whatever it is, but then they might get additional revenue through by selling other products. You can develop a unique cost structure which is much better. Now, this is where China is doing extremely well because they have unique access to their certain resources. Yeah. So now that's it. That is very, very critical, very important. Then if you're looking at your price-based strategies, create certain efficiency in your organizational capabilities, where you have the innovation coming in and cost reduction. Yeah. Then focus on market segments, right? If markets are going to have some lower expectation, deliver that lower expectation, right? For example, like budget travelers. Yeah. What do they want? They want a clean room. Yeah. They want a safety. They don't want to be robbed in the night. A clean toilet, a clean room, basic, fundamental. They don't want, 3-4 inch carpet, where when your legs get sunk into it, and you don't need bathroom slippers with your wardrobe filled with other items and things like that. Fundamentally, they don't need it. They want a decent bed to sleep. They want a clean room, clean toilet. That's it. Yeah, safety. So like that, if you think that to go on the pricing strategy or to work on the pricing perspectives, price based, then you might have to attract customers who might having a lower expectation and sell them to them. Yeah. Differentiation, you can have difficulty in create some difficulties in imitation. Don't allow your capabilities to move around, your processes not to be spoken about, and also establish a lower cost position so that you can spend more on differentiation, research and development. You can lock in with MB. You can easily lock in with your size of the market dominance. Now, organization thinking of moving out of ideal situation, why they have to move out of Bangladesh. If they have to move out, if they can go immediately to a newer destination, the first people, so you will have that first move advantages also coming in. Sure, you're not going to be the first mover, but then you can learn from the experience what others have gone through. Yeah, the commitment, and also like insist on your position where you want to go. The third element which you can work on your business level strategy is to collaborate with your you can collaborate with your competitors. Okay, like most of the airlines, they do that, isn't it? Yeah, so they have a what do I say, they have a they have a policy when uh, uh, they could come in, they could allow the other airlines to get into their own airports, and when they go in, they get preferences like how you treat others. You could see airlines have their own alliances. Yeah, so they compete with each other, but then they have a supporting element coming in between, so that their competitiveness could be at a better uh, position, right? So there are certain elements which you can do. Number one, that will help you to increase your selling power. Like for example, Sri Lankan Airlines does not fly to New York, but then they can take the passengers up to London, and from London, British Airways can take them on, because they are on One World Alliance or whatever. Increasing buying power. Once again, when you have this code shares, so that there'll be other passengers also joining, which has been sold by your own, the team or your alliance. So if you're carrying only, for example, if you're carrying only 200 passengers, if others have sold about another 50 passengers, so then now you can negotiate for a better pricing for the meals. Earlier you were going to buy only 200, now you're looking at 250. So your economy scales could have an advantage on that particular aspect of it. You can block, when you're joining together, you can block when you collaborate, you can block. Now, say for example, British Airways and Qantas, they fly from London to Melbourne, and they will not allow anybody else to fly directly. So that kind of thing is possible. They could create the barriers to entry, which is very important. When you analyze your five forces, you will understand. You would not want another the dairy product to come in, because of various reasons in the market. Decrease risk of substitution, because you have the support from others. So substitution would not take place, so that your product could be used continuously. As I said earlier, you have capability of entering into the new markets, where you're not flying into New York, but still you can sell, and you can see the situation like or you're selling more for a week, you're selling about 400 to 500 passengers to New York, then probably you can start thinking of flying to New York. So then that might be interesting, because then you can it's an opportunity to go into the new markets to work with. Shared work with customers. People who have flown would know there is no more tickets. It's everything is online, and you ask the customers to carry it along with them. Like they don't have to even carry it. If you want a printout, you print it out, and I'm not going to give you a printout. So that kind of a situation. So shared work with the customers in certain perspectives, and also which will meet the shareholder expectations. So now whether it is possible for me to do the collaboration, that we need to decide. I'm giving you all the options. Okay, I'm giving the options that you need to decide whether it is going to go off with. Okay, last session, before I move on to the other strategic areas, the cultural web. Somebody asked me about this cultural web, looking at 6 elements, how organization culture is built on. So I was able to pick something out. You could see the controls, the stories, the symbols, the structure, the power structure, rituals and routines. So with all these things, now this is you could see uh, the the paradigm. Yeah, the paradigm is created with a mix of all these elements. Right now, into our case, there are enough stories to tell. How do we start? How did we move on? What are the purpose that we started off with? Where are we now? Yeah. The former chairman has been good. Firstly, the new chairman is very good. So we have certain analysis which we have done about it. Yeah. The symbols. Yeah. Uh, how now say for example in Sri Lankan context the symbols are very important because it's obvious. Yeah, you walk into an organization, you could see the table sizes might be different unless otherwise you're working on a workstations. The table sizes will be different. Yeah, the juniors will be seated on a smaller tables and the seniors will be seated on a bigger table. These are symbols, like you know how these things are built, right? uh, the organization structure, how formal your organization structure is. Yeah. Every time when you read the case, what has been presented to you all, there is they are insisting on the structure. They are talking about the board. They're talking about the elements what they are looking at. There's no clear evidence saying that which area is that they are looking, but then there is certain amount of evidence the type of areas that they are working on with. Yeah. Power structures, where does the power rely? Yeah. Certain questions could be asked from your side as the chartered accountants, the executive director and the CEO, the relationship. Yeah. The rituals, routines, what do they generally do? How do they work off with? What do they value? Yeah. What type of conduct is expected? That kind of a story. And also the controls. Yeah, the type of controls that you have whether you manage the KPIs, you manage the financial elements, how do you manage it, right? So with all these things, the cultural web is created. You're talking about the scan step. This is the element which differs. I said, like you could see, there is a pen. Okay, right. So you could see the social aspect is being. This is your pestle social aspect. They are breaking into social as well as the cultural aspect here, right? Authority, you all know that, okay? Environment, right? Then security. This is a new area. Yeah, security is a new area. Technology is there. Economy is there. Political factor is there, right? So I put up a small chart saying where the new things have come in added on. So this is the cultural, which was there in your pestle framework as social, been broken into two. Then the security is completely new. It is not there in your pestle framework, right? It is not there in the pestle framework. Rest is there, right? Rest is there. Social authority, which comes under legal factor. Natural environment is in environmental factors, things like that. Quite similar, but these are two elements. So somebody asked me about that they were not very sure about it. So this could be something that you all can make use of it. And you all are talking about the cage model. Yeah. So this is the cage model which to go off with. So cultural, administrative, geographic, and economic. I've just picked up a model from internet, just to give you all the explanation. This model, cage model, gives you advantage to identify the cultural differences, the administrative differences, the geographic differences, and the economic differences uh, between your country and the country you are going to operate with. By understanding those elements, then you would know the type of product that you can sell, the type of product that you want to work off with, the pricing, the market entry strategies could be worked out. Because if you don't know about that particular organization, now, ideally, if you're looking at Cage, then that is linked with the cultural aspect is linked with this area is linked with Hofstede, which is the next slide what I have. Hofstede, the way that he identified certain differences in different countries to work out. Administrative is all about the way the organization is handled in your country which you're going to go in, and what is the difference between how do you get now, say for example, how do you register a company in Sri Lankan context, and how do you register a company in Bangladesh concept? How long does it take? Singapore, they say 1 hour. The complete formation to be done is 1 hour. In Sri Lanka, how many days? What are the documents that they're looking at? Is it the similar document that they are working off in the other countries as well? Yeah. Administratively, whether there is a gap between that. So then what do? The geographic gap is where your country is located in distance wise itself. Yeah. So say for example, it might be difficult for me to manage a company in Japan, which is far away from me, rather than managing a company in India, because that might be able to fly to India very quickly. Yeah, the geographic difference is much more lesser, easier to work off with, and plus the weather, how does it look like? Yeah, the orography, the borders, who are the people who are around now. Is there something that I need to worry about it? Yeah. So those kind of things could be worked on. This is ideal to understand the country what you are going to work off with, their cultural perspective. This will help you to manage them. Yeah, this will help you to manage them. For example, power distance. When I say power distance is like the participation in decision making between the top and the bottom, right? How do they treat? How do you treat your employees? How do you treat your the workers, right? Now, say for example, in Sri Lankan context, there's no big gap. Okay, there's no big gap because the top management also would walk in and talk to the employees, and they are quite free. Yeah, but in certain companies, no. But then most of the companies, they're quite free, and especially if you're working on an MNC background, then it's quite you're very free. You don't think of the hierarchical level. You accept their views, you accept their you evaluate their opinions to see whether it is worth that kind of a situation. Whereas that is the Sri Lankan context. Okay, but if you look at the Indian context, the gap between the worker and the supervisor is like your the worker's god is the supervisor. Then supervisor and the manager, now manager and the worker would be like god's relationship. Yeah. So my god is supervisor's god is the manager, so that is my god's god. So then you can feel that the difference. So they would go to that extent, like so the power distance is very high. So then how do you manage? Yeah, is it similar in if you are thinking of coming into Sri Lanka? Is the Sri Lankan power distance and the Bangladeshi power distance is quite similar? Is it similar? Yeah. So then it might be easy for you to manage. I believe it is. That's why organizations are quite successful operating. Sri Lankan organization operating in Bangladesh and a Bangladesh organization operating in Sri Lanka. It's quite successful because the power distance is can be managed. Individualism versus collectivism. Now that depends on, like, how you're going to work, how you're going to set your targets. Yeah. Whether you're going to give individual KPIs or the group KPIs. Whether, now, say for example, how you solve the problems. When Toyota had a problem with their RAV4s, their sticky pedals of your accelerator. Individually in US that happened, they could not solve the problem because individually they were working. But then there was a team arrived from Japan and they were able to solve it. They were able to identify where the problem is, right? Because that's because of the types of way that you collectively participate in decision making, or you're going to be individualism, right? Uncertainty avoidance. Where does Sri Lanka stand? Whereas Italy stands, whereas Austria stands, whereas even Germany stands. Germany wants very clear instructions. They don't want uncertainty. They want very clear instructions. Do X, Y, Z. Yeah, this is the order. This is the way that you should go on with. Whether you would work on certain situations where the take decisions in certain circumstances, even it is not been said to you. I believe Sri Lankans they would do that. Yeah, they would try and take the responsibility. They would try and see that they would work on that uncertainty situations. Right. Masculinity, femininity. What do you value? Yeah. What do you value? What do you want? Do you want a house, car, a big salary, or you want enjoyable, the relationship, that kind of a situation. Long term, short term. What are you looking at? The present generation is very much short term gigs. They work on gigs, isn't it? Like 1 year gigs, 6 months gigs. Yeah, gig economy. Now it is becoming a gig economy. Your Gen X, Gen Y, more of a long-term perspectives. Yeah. So difference comes in. Okay, difference comes in how you manage. So that theoretical perspective that to work off. Right. Give me a minute, guys. I'll take the next set of slides so that hang on for a minute. Right. So we were looking at the business level strategies. Now we look at the corporate level strategies to work off it. Corporate level strategies could be very different. The first one on your corporate level strategies, like we saw that how do you grow, on what way you grow. The growth strategy could be pursued in 3 major aspects of it. One is the organic development, that is by yourself, or you merge and acquire, or strategic alliance. Now, if you take the practicality of the life, you earn, you build your house, you save money, you buy a car, then you get married. It's a kind of organic development that you're making of it, because you have taken your time, you have managed your time, you have managed the way you want, all that thing. Yeah. The second option, merging, you can get married to somebody who's having all those things. Yeah. So it's like you merge, then your market share immediately becomes bigger with that person's market share, right? Acquisition is not merging. Acquisition is like you're taking over, maybe hostile. Yeah. So in life also you might do that. Yeah. Third one, strategic alliance. Strategic alliance is like now, which is coming up in our social trend. Yeah. The social life is in Sri Lanka also. In Sri Lanka also, it was, now it is becoming very known. Yeah. Earlier, it was not very much known. In Sri Lankan culture, it was not acceptable. It was very much acceptable in the Western culture. Living together, yeah, strategic alliance. So you pay 50% of the rent. You pay, or you pay for the food. I pay for the car allowance, whatever. So you will split up. You will make use of the resources. You pay for it as long as you'll stay together, you'll be loyal, but then maybe it doesn't work. Bye bye. We go on our own path. No major commitments. Yeah. So that's kind of strategic alliance that you can grow. You can go to new places. We saw that the collaboration with your competitor, that kind of a situation to go off it. What is the role? What is the way that the current organization is doing? How are they growing? How did they grow? Have they grown on an organic development? Have they grown on mergers and acquisition? Have they grown on strategic alliance? How are they grown? Yeah. Anywhere in the case that they are saying these organizations are taken over by this company, the Frostbite they are thinking of acquiring, but then there are certain complications which coming in. You all will know better than me, right? So which way is better for the current company to grow? The next area is the direction. That's why they use the Ansoff matrix. Whether you want to do a market penetration, that means you're currently operating in Bangladesh, probably with about 18% of the market share. I'm just assuming 18% of the market share, because the indication is that 80% of the market share is combined with 3 people. So 50% is 1 person and you're number 2. So probably you're having a little bit edge over the third person. So roughly, okay. Just the fundamental idea is that you're there. Right. So now you have opportunities to move into the market because there is space available in the market for you to move, because you are only at 18% market share. Yes, obviously your main competitor is very strong, backed by the government, etc., etc. True, but you have an opportunity to grow, right? So whether you can push yourself for market development, market penetration, because using the same product, same market, you push yourself, or you're looking at a new market with the existing products. Probably you want to export it. Yeah. Probably you want to do certain things. Looking, or maybe you want to identify and find out whether there is a new what do I say? Whether there is a new market for your product. Like you can create, for example, how this Viva and Nestamoid and Marmite and Horlicks, how they have created. Yeah. Now all these products, what I said was like, it was used when you were sick. Yeah. They used to mix and give it to you, and then you go and give it to your grandmother, grandfather. Obviously, at that time, they didn't have diabetics or whatever it is. Now, of course, it's full of sugar. So then the diabetic patients has to be careful. So elderly people not recommended to have this, food because of the sugar content. But on the other hand, what they saw was like, okay, let's target on the younger generation. Younger generation with probably they will not have sugar issues. So they will need some sugar because of they need to be energetic to go off it. So that's why they shifted that their focus from that to younger generation to go off with. You could see the advertisements started changing. You drink Nestamalt and you run with a train. That kind of a impact, right? So now that you're going to be the start of the day with Nestamalt. Um, Anybody working for Nestle, don't take me to courts, but then these are we discuss in a academic per se. Yeah. So that's how it works. That's how. So you could develop your market on that particular perspective also. You don't have to go in a new geographical location, but then you can develop that into a different market segment to work things out. Yeah. Then the third area is like you can do a product development. Yeah. You can do a product development. I'm sure the company is making the product development as well. Yeah, we have evidence that they are bringing in new products. They brought in new products. Then innovation is there. So innovation is to bring in new products. Yeah. So they are bringing in new products. So the one way that they want to go, the direction that they want to go is probably new products. But then why we are not thinking of market penetration? Because there's a area which you can grow, right? Then finally you can think of even diversification. Organizations looking at diversification also, from milk-based to nutrient-based, diverse strategy, new product, new market. They are not touched upon they are not operated in the adult nutrient market. Now they are producing adult nutrient product with that's a diversification to work things out. Yeah. Guys, try and link it. Okay. Now, which is better, which is not better, you need to wait, because we have got information, where they operate, what they operate. Yeah. So the direction what they want to take, the suggestions that you're going to make, you might have to wait till the unseen. Yeah. Sell more in the existing market, achieve higher market share existing products in new markets, sell new products in existing market, sell new products in new markets to go off with. Yeah. Right. So the risk increases. You can see the red line. The risk increases accordingly when you move on to those areas. So product development there is a risk involvement, because what happens, you develop a new product and that product is not accepted by the market. Yeah. I don't mind touching that element in. Probably you would see very clear indication that they are talked about when they had this problem about this infant's formula. The entire portfolio of the organization's products were under scrutiny, isn't it? So probably they are on a umbrella branding. Probably they are on umbrella branding. Okay. So now that's the reason I believe that they want to split off. Yeah. That's the reason that they want to not to have an impact on the existing products. Now, say for example, in local context scenario, Maliban operates on umbrella branding. Yeah, their biscuits and your dairies and everything it's under Maliban. So if there's something goes wrong with Maliban milk, okay, for example, nothing should go wrong, but what I'm saying is something goes wrong with the Maliban milk, that might have a ripple effect on your other products which is being manufactured under Maliban. So probably safe assumptions that when they are saying that the entire organization is jeopardized because of that particular issue, that means that they are working on what do you call it, an umbrella branding. Yeah. So probably that's the reason that they want to move on. Yeah. Into and divest into a newer newer, the name. Yeah. So the risk increases. Probably diversification gives you the highest risk. Then product development gives you a failure, the next high risk. And then your market extension or market development would be the next risk. Market penetration might not be a major issue because the same product, same market you operate, you might spend a little bit more on penetration strategies, maybe piggybacking or something on that nature that you would work it out. So looking at the options, okay, we looked at the competitiveness, right? Competitiveness we saw with the Porter's generic strategy and the Bauman's clock model on the price based and also the differentiation based. These two are not much required, so I'm not going to discuss. That's why I didn't also discuss. I just skip it off. The directions that you take, either you take the consolidation or market penetration, then along with product development, then your market development or diversification. So the direction that you can take. How do you want to grow? Whether you want to grow organically, whether you want to grow, whether you want to grow by acquiring and merging, or whether you want to create a strategic alliance. So guys, just imagine the combinations that you can have. For example, you're going to go on differentiation strategy. Yeah, you'll go on differentiation strategy with product development. Yeah, and you want to acquire an organization so that you can do a new product, and you can go on a differentiation strategy that you're working off with, right? Or you can go on an organic development. The moment you can change, yeah, so then that becomes a new strategy, new path, yeah, new path, differentiation, product development, organic development. Yeah, look, no, I'm going to invest, I'm going to develop, so I can do that, that kind of a situation. So these are the options that you can create with the information that you have. Yeah, what type of things that you're going to go off with, because at the end of the day, what are you looking at? That's why I started off with by saying the strategic planning or strategic management is asking fundamentally three questions. Where are you now? Yeah. Where are you now? Sorry, guys. Where are you now? Where do you want you to go? How do you go there? Now, this is your how part. Yeah. Creation of the options is the how part. Like, okay, I'm here with 18% market share, for example. Okay, I need to increase that to 25%. So how do I increase that to 25%? Is it through a market penetration strategy? Yeah, so that is like rationalization and consolidation. Yeah, or am I going to give you a new product so that I can increase my revenue? Yeah, whether that product is going to be based on a differentiation strategy, whether I'm going to show a complete differentiation in my product. And obviously, I'm not going to ask from anybody else. I'm going to manage. So I'm going to go on a organic development. Yeah. Simple as that. Right. At the corporate level, so we saw that first one, we saw how do we grow and then the direction that we are going to take. So we used how do you grow, organic growth or mergers and acquisition or strategic alliance, or the direction we said consolidation or market penetration, product development, market development, and diversification. And then we have the corporate, next one, the corporate level decision that they take is your portfolio. right? Before we go into the portfolio, just a few thought, yeah. You see Cargill Sri Lanka, yeah. Cargill Sri Lanka also have acquired, we know that, acquired Kotmale, yeah. Cargill's acquired Kotmale. We have Ambewala. Ambewala is managed by Aken Spence, yeah. That's also quite a strong conglomerate. A strong conglomerate, yeah. Now Cargill's manufactures dairy products, including fundamentals, basic things. You could see the same things that our company manufactures: yogurt, curd, milk, sweetened milk, flavored milk. All those things are there. And also, Cargill's has an advantage by they have a forward integration. Yeah. Because they can sell their products. They have the supermarkets. Do you think that it might be a diversification strategy might come in looking at a forward integration with the company? Because Cargill's is ideally quite having that characteristics of having that by acquiring Kotmale, they have that characteristics of a manufacturer of the similar products. Still, they're not gone into the formulation of powdered milk, powdered product, right? They are not yet into that into bringing it down. Yeah. So just a thought, guys. Okay. So think of the type of information that you might need. Yeah. What if a forward integration to work off it? Cargill's is ideally a good example for backward and forward integration. Yeah. They have their own farms, but also they have their own. They have their supply network chain is also available in that particular perspective. So think about that particular element, guys. Okay, so think about how these things would move. I'm taking a easy one rather than using a G matrix. I'm using the BCG matrix. The type of products what we have, we don't have much of a much information with regard to the market share of every single product that we hold on with. Yeah. So we are not sure whether where do we plot that on. We might get information, I don't know. We might have some information maybe in unseen, or there might not be, right? But then identify these how you could identify and make certain decisions, yeah, on behalf of the organization. Where do you want to allocate your funds? Yeah, where do you want to work on it? So how many question marks that you're going to you can manage? Yeah. Question marks are the products which are operating on a high growth market with a small market share. Yeah. With a less market share, you can see that relative market share is small, right? Whereas how many stars that you can manage? If you have to manage the stars and if you have to manage question marks and convert that question marks into stars, you need cash. From where do you get cash? You get from cash cow. Like product B, right? So product B is going to fund, yeah. Product B is going to fund sorry guys, product B is going to fund the question mark, and probably pushing that question marks into the star category. And also the product B is going to fund the star category, which need to be maintained. Yeah. So the product B kind of products also required in your portfolio, which to support the question mark, which need help, and also to maintain the stars. Then the stars can perform well. The dogs categories are the products you could see that they are coming to the end of their life cycle. Their relative market share is very much lower, and they are on a low growth. Industry growth is also very much lower, right? To understand this element, let me give you a practical example rather than not on a this what do you call this on a dairy market, but on a FMCG market. If you take Unilever, the cash cow is Sunlight. Why I'm saying Sunlight very happily? Because the soap market is declining. Okay, the soap market is slowing down. So you could see that they are in a industry growth on a lower scale. That industry is not growing, so it's stagnant, or it's losing its the growth. That's because the powders have taken over. The Sunlight, the washing segment, the washing powders have taken over, right? So that's the reason, and urbanization and so many other factors getting involved. Now, star products, probably your Surf Excel, your Rin, right? So they need to be maintained. Of course, they are doing pretty good. The sales are good, right? So they need to be maintained. Your question marks, earlier it would have been Rexona, but now Rexona is also is migrating into the star category. Unlike the X is already there, right? And probably the reason why Unilever scrapped off their what do you call their spread range? Obviously, that's for some other reason. That is to avoid being taken over by Warren Buffett, Berkshire Group. So they sold away all their the food range spreads, because Warren Buffett was interested in the food range spreads. So he offered Unilever a price which Unilever management declined, and they immediately sold off worldwide. They sold off all the brands, so that it doesn't make Warren Buffett no more interested in Unilever. Yeah, he was interested only with those brands, not anymore. Right. So the portfolio could be created. And these dogs, when you kick the dog out, generally the dog has to go because it is a low growth, but then you need to be careful. You need to see any one of the three things, what I'm going to say. If it is relevant to the dog, then you might have to keep the dog. Number one, if the dog is giving you a contribution. The dog is giving you a contribution. Yeah. Selling price minus the variable cost. Yeah. Obviously, you know that. Giving a contribution. If it is giving a contribution, don't sell, because that contributes towards your fixed cost, covering up a fixed cost. That's one. Number two, if the dog could be revamped again. Yeah. You could see these, the spectacles. Yeah. Time to time, the size of the sunglasses changes. Certain period, you can't even see the face because the entire face is covered with sunglasses, right? You don't know where your eyes and where your nose is, where, everything is covered. In certain time period, like you have to search for the sunglasses. It becomes so small. Yeah. So in different time frame due to the the customer consumer preferences, the style changes, right? So do you really want to scrap it off? Do you really want to scrap those models? No, keep it, because you might have to hold on to it, because that can be revamped again, right? The third reason is that whether there isn't a relationship between your star products and the dogs. Any relationship. Now, you could see the number one product for Nestle is Nescafe. The creamer, what they produce is dying. The creamer market is no more. Yeah, creamer market is like, it's very, it was there, now it has dropped down. People prefer to drink black rather than, adding that creamer. If they want, they will add some milk on it, liquid milk rather than the creamers. Yeah, so the creamer market is declining, but then still some prefer with the creamer. So they're not kicking the dog out, they're not kicking the creamer element out, simply because that creamer has a relationship with the star category product, right? So when you suggest anything for your organization, maintaining a portfolio matrix, yeah, you need to be carefully suggest probably new information required to create that portfolio. But of course, you have certain information to identify the products what you have, whether they are star, whether they are cash cow, whether they are problem children, or sorry, the question mark, whether they are dogs. You will require a little bit more information, details to go. Right. Now, next one is going to thinking of the domestic market versus the global market. Okay. The domestic market, we know it's stable, yeah, predictable, yeah, pretty much less complex than the overseas market. And globalization is actually reducing the number of domestic only markets. Yeah, now it is like no more kind of a situation. Where the global market is unstable, unpredictable, complex, risky, and globalization is enabling global markets to grow off. Just to give you all a idea with the case how it has moved on. So that's how you could see how this could happen. So you have different modes of entry, different ways of modes of entry that you can work it out, right? Now, why do you need to go into another country? Probably you might have to, you can work out better on your economies of scale. Yeah. Probably there's a location advantage. Now, when you say location advantage, we have evidence. We have evidence that they are talking about in Sri Lanka market. Sri Lanka is fulfilling only 40% of their milk requirement locally. Balance 60% has been imported via milk powder. Yeah, on milk powder base. So there is a location advantage because that location is not fulfilled with the requirement, unlike their home market. The home market very clearly indicates they are already like 78% of their market is being covered. And in another 6-7 years time that they will be fulfilling their market requirement. Yeah, manufacturing and fulfilling their market requirement to work things out. And obviously on a market like that, and you are holding about, number 2 market position with a big gap, of course, but still that you're on a quite a, established situation over there. So, and also, if you see the, the milk harvest, yeah, it's different. So there could be certain advantages on Sri Lankan per se, Sri Lankan aspect of it. That's why you see the people from outside already have established, right? We have information about, the uh, government owned, state-owned company which has issues, and now the relation, it has been signed off by Amul and Cargill's to to work things out uh, from 167,000 liter capacity to 55,000 capacity, irregularities, all those issues are there. So that might be something interesting to see, whether even they come up to that particular level, that we might not be able to fulfill the entire requirement. So there are enough opportunities to fulfill with the experience that you have already. Then what do you want to do? Whether you want to go on a multi-domestic strategy, whether you want to go on a global strategy, or whether you want to go on a transnational strategy is the next question. Exporting might not be possible at the moment. Your milk powder could be exported on a short term. Very clearly, it says on a short to mid term, they've identified South Asia markets. So that may be with the formula developed, including into Sri Lankan context, that you can do. Already they have, another company has already started it, but that project has failed due to the issue with the local partner. So now these are the when you see the opportunity, there is already there are enough opportunities available. Yeah. So a transnational strategy might give the element of localizing with international, international effectiveness. So that might be possible because you have enough experience in creating this kind of market. Yeah. Mode of entry, probably you might go into fully owned subsidiary, or you might acquire someone, or you can even have a strategic alliance. Remember, I mentioned Ambewala, which is not mentioned in your case, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't see Ambewala, if I'm right. But they were mentioning about other organization, Rich Life, and so many other organizations they mentioned, but I don't think that I can't recall. Maybe I've forgotten. So probably a joint venture with the Ambewala with Econ Spence might be possibility to work off with, because Econ Spence also have what do you call renewable energy. The element is also there with them, right? Wind power. So a good choice to manage. Yeah. I'm not giving you any indication, but then, possibilities. We don't know, right? Then how do we make sure that performance improves, right? Benefits of international, if you work off with, you can expand your product's life cycle, could be expanded. Like, if it is going off in your country, probably when you start exporting in, you can start a new product life cycle here. Gain easy access to raw materials. Probably, yes, we could with lush green, farmland available. Probably you might have to acquire, yeah, and work things out. Opportunities to integrate operations on a global scale, yes, possible. Opportunities to better use rapidly developing technology, of course, yes. We have evidence that we are spending enough money on R&D, and we are good in certain in certain advancement in dairy products. Yeah. Gain access to consumers in emerging markets, obviously. Yeah. So you don't have to even, like, if you fulfill a lot of things from here, the UHT packs could be exported. UHT packs could be exported into different countries, close by Maldives, in various other countries around could be possibility of to fulfill the requirements. Yeah. Fundamental benefits: increase market size, economy of scale, and learning is possible, and also you can have certain location advantage, right? Right. So now for this to happen, probably like the cage framework, you might have to look at this Porter's diamond theory. Yeah. Porter's diamond theory also might be possible, because that will be good when you're analyzing. Yeah. You start off with OV, so that OV is on Mr. Ajit is on the consultancy business, and using a Porter's diamond theory would be necessary to give certain information about the business expansion. Number one, you have to see whether there are factors of production. Yeah, there is enough factors of production. That factors of production could be two forms. Yeah, two areas, basic and advanced. Basic is like unskilled labor. In Sri Lanka, do you have? Yes, we have. But the problem with Sri Lankan context is that people, with the urbanization, people working in farms, working in estates, reducing. Yeah, is a social stigma, right? But I believe if you pay the right wage, right, guaranteed, treating them in a proper manner, like what our organization does, it might be possible to retain and have better people. Then the weather conditions, they're pretty good in Sri Lankan context. Yeah, suitable. Then you have the advanced factor conditions, as like education level, right? We have quite skilled labor, semi-skilled, skilled labor categories there. That's pretty interesting. Our road networks are good, to be very honest. When you go outstation, they're fine, except the main city roads are not so good. The lost maintenance part of it. Although new development projects are coming up, the normal road maintenance also need to be done. But the factor conditions are quite good in that particular sense. Then you have the demand conditions. Demand conditions, whether your product could be sold in the local market is number one. Yes, of course, it can be sold without any hesitation. We can say that, because 60% of your the requirement is been imported. So then obviously we start manufacturing that will be possible to sell. Yeah, that will be possible to sell. People are now you would see that people are now more educated. They're talking about it. Okay, in the case they say so. Yeah, they're smart. They know what exactly they want. So it's very easy. Yeah. So the demand condition, the knowledge of the market or knowledge of the customers is also very important. Now, people are concerned about the health conditions. People are concerned about good living conditions. So they know the balanced diet. The the index, says that Sri Lanka is next to Malaysia. Yeah. So that's pretty pretty good sign. So there is possibility of the demand conditions. People and the volumes could be be sold. Then you have the related and supporting industries. Whether you have the related and supporting industries in these areas, already there are established organization working on this. Already they are there. Okay, so you have the transportation systems, you have the storage facilities, you have, so already the other industries which can support the dairy farm industry is possible, because the experience what they have is already there. And the firm's strategy, structure, and rivalry. Local firms would be rivalries, and also now you might have to face, if you're coming in, okay, then presently the agreement signed between Amul, Cargill's, and the state-run organization also is there. So that is also need to be considered. That's quite a very powerful combination. Yeah, local partner also quite aggressive and powerful, and you have the because obviously Amul would have signed it with the facilities what they have. Similarly, if you're looking at our company coming in, also it's possible with maybe on a strategic alliance, strategic partnership with another company. It's also possible, because then you don't have to have the obtaining the necessary documents, the licensing, and all those things. All those headaches could be handled off if you have if you are going to work on a brownfield analysis, brownfield, which is already, the factory is already established and things like that are there. These are the other multi-domestic strategies to go off with. Right. Two new trends need to be considered. Foreigners, liability of foreigners, like you've been a foreign company, how you will be treated. That's something that you need to be thinking of. And also regionalization now. Yeah. It's more regional products. So obviously, Bangladesh is within the same SAARC region. So that issues could be sorted out. So this thing coming up, right? So you could see the risk increases from exporting to newly owned subsidiary, but on the other hand, the control also increases when it comes to that particular line. Yeah, so probably the options are there for you to work things out. The firm has no foreign manufacturing expertise and requires investment only in distribution. Then probably exporting is the optimal solution. The firm needs to facilitate the product improvement necessary to enter foreign market. Then probably you work on licensing. The firm needs to connect with an experienced partner already in the targeted market. Probably you can work on a strategic alliance, which might be possibility. The firm needs to reduce the risk through sharing the cost. Once again, you can do the strategic alliance. The firm is uncertain situations such as emerging economy in its targeted market. Still, you can work on a strategic alliance. The firm must act quickly to gain rapid access to the new market where corruption is not an issue. Then probably acquisition, but corruption is not an issue, need to be considered. The firm's intellectual property rights in an emerging economy are not well protected. the number of firms in the industry is growing fast and needs for a global integration is so high. So probably you have a wholly owned subsidiary that is a greenfield venture that you can talk about. Few risk, political and economic risk that you need to consider. Political risk could be avoided, like they are not going to have a bigger impact in Sri Lankan context. Yes, we had the unrest. We had uprising, but now things are much better, settled down. So they are okay. Yeah. Economic, yes, still we are in a little bit of a danger, but then more or less we are settled. We are okay. That's what the information says. That's what the communication has been done. So whether there'll be restriction in export, transferring your profits need to be considered. Maybe that's for a short-term impact, but then that you'll be investing more revenue rather than setting off your profits. So therefore, for the couple of periods where this similar situation retains, then you might be able to mitigate this economic issue as well. Right, evaluation. You could look at suitability, acceptability, feasibility, whether the strategy what you're creating, whether it is suitable, whether it is acceptable, feasible. So if you're looking at the suitability part, make sure that is in line with your vision and mission. Yeah, make sure it's in line with your vision and mission. Make sure that you're talking the right things with mission and mission. Yeah, acceptability, acceptable return, acceptable risk, acceptable the shareholder value increase, your financial ratios, the sensitive analysis, all those things need to be considered prior to selection of the strategy what you're going to implement. Feasibility, whether you can get your feasible, you can get your resources, you can get your finances for the project, whether it is feasible, whether it is possible to do, whether you can get your required human resources. Yeah. So, and also whether the existing structure of your organization, whether that can support the expansion or the new path that you're taking off, need to be considered. A balance scorecard might be an interesting area for you to think of looking into, monitoring the progress. Yeah. So balance scorecard, 4 elements, 4 key elements. How do the customer sees us? How do the how can we continuously improve and create value? What are the areas that we should be good at, excel at, and also how does the shareholder looks at us? The 4 perspectives, something on this nature. Probably you can set your objectives, you can set your measures, your targets, your initiatives, what you're going to do in those areas, and have a plan. Yeah, for monitoring purposes, this will be ideal situation. Right. So your strategic position and strategic choices. Now we are moving on to the last area, strategy in action. Yeah. Strategy in action. Once again, once you plan certain things, then you need to implement it all. Right. So number 1 priority would be like your organized structure and your controls. What type of structure that you are going to have, what type of structure that you have currently in your organization, whether that structure is, because we have only the board structure over there, okay? We don't have any other major information. We have some information with regard to the where they are located. The factories are located in 6 regions and things like that. So how does that operate? how does the corporate structure would help us when if we are thinking of changing, maybe acquiring somebody, or maybe expanding into another geographical location, whether my structure will support. So I'm not going to go into detail about these, the structural types, because you should be able to identify and understand what will be the best structure, or what will be the convenient structure to manage the organization if it is going to change. Yeah. So probably might have this the structure with centralized services with different divisions and different functions. You can have a matrix structure to work things out. And then the controlling element. Yeah. So you need to control the way that you're looking at if there's major deviations from what you are planned for, right? So you have this feed forward control, concurrent control, and the feedback control. So feed forward control anticipates and prevents the problems, okay, at the beginning itself. So certain elements that you can check it out. Then the concurrent control, it takes place while it's in process. Yeah. While the project is on, immediately you can see whether the budgets are met, whether they are controlled. So you can have a concurrent control at particular point. Feedback control is once everything is done, then you need to provide evidence, and then to see whether you can have any, how do we sort things out. When you start designing a control system, few things that you need to take into consideration: size of the organization, the hierarchy, organization hierarchy, degree of the organization, decentralization, how well that it is decentralized. I believe you all know what decentralized is, where the decisions could be made at the lowest end of the organization. Yeah. Type of organization culture, and importance of activity to the organization success. The change element, if you need to do, probably you can bring in a change agent to work things out. OV is a consultancy company which could have a change process in place. They could make the process in place. So change could happen in three major areas in the organization. It can happen in the structure, it can happen in the technology, and also it can happen with people. When I say people, fundamentally it's their attitude, behavior, which all links into the cultural perspective. Technology, how it works. Yeah. Are you challenging what you're doing is correct? Are you looking at a BPR, business process reengineering? Whether the technology adaptation would be good, the type of technology adaptation required. Yeah. And also the structure, whether the structure helps, yeah, a new way of what we do, whether the type of relationship among the people who are in the structure has to be made very clear. Kurt Lewin's model of change could be fundamentally three areas. You can unfreeze, freeze, and unfreeze, do the change, and then refreeze again. On a simple note, on a practical life, you could see that the ice cubes in your refrigerator. Yeah. So ice cubes, colorless water. Now you want that same ice cubes, the same water to be turned into different shapes and different colors. What do? You keep it out. When you keep it out, what happens? the ice cubes unfreezes and it melts. It becomes liquid. Then you make the necessary change. Take X amount of liquid, add yellow, drop it into the, pour it into the shape of the sun. Yeah, block shape of the sun. Put it in the fridge. You want moon, once again, yellow, maybe on a shape of a, an arch, right? And drop it into the freezer. You want a leaf, water, drop in a green color, fix it into that mold, drop it into the freezer. Now what are you doing? You have made the necessary changes, you're refreezing them. Same thing with people. Yeah, unfreeze them. Tell them what is right. Tell them how the new things would work. Tell them what happens if you stay with your old systems. Tell them, give them examples, give them reasons to believe, unfreeze them. Then train them, make necessary changes. Yeah, ask them to understand the systems, ask them to understand how it works, empower them. Yeah, make sure that they clearly understand the procedures, processes, right? Give them time to get accustomed, settle them in, making your necessary changes. Then freeze it. Freeze them by making sure that they follow what they have learned, making sure that they follow the new system, not the old system. So maybe you can reward them or you can even punish them. Yeah, on refreezing them. Right. Let me move on to the case what I've done. So probably you all need to probably you need to probably you can think of sharing anything. Let me look at these questions before I move in there. I'm starting from the bottom. Rasika, yes, that's possible. You can definitely consider the SAFE criteria as part of strategic implementation. Why I brought it up into that strategic formulation is for you to understand the options that you can have this way to to implement it. Yeah, so that's the reason I brought it there. Definitely, you can bring it on to that area. No issues at all. Organic growth is by yourself, yeah, by self-development. You make your own profits, you make your own you make your profits, and then you grow by yourself. Yeah, you invest in the business like that. I hope, Anton, that's a question that you are having in your mind. New infant formula could be a focus differentiation. I would now, have you ever produced anything powdered? So, and have you ever gone into the infant market? So if it is going to be infant market and a powdered, that means a new product into new market, that's a diversification. Probably, do you know the pricing structure? Whether it's high price, whether or whether they are giving because see the consideration of the fundamentals of looking at your mission statement, fair pricing is something that you are emphasizing on. So I don't know whether you'll be working on a high price element you will make sure that you have a profit, but then you're not going to have a very so focused differentiation. Rather than a focused differentiation, probably you might go into a differentiation strategy. Yeah. So because focused differentiation, that you're looking at a very small market, right? Infant market that you're looking at like the whole of Bangladesh, and which you all didn't have any imports. Now, of course, there might be imports, so it might be a differentiation strategy because you're looking at a bigger segment. Yeah. I don't know your name, so I can't address it to you. Hope I have answered that question. Yeah. Right, great. Okay, so now let me see what I have done. As I said, like for me, it's easy to break down into those 10 areas. Then probably you all can slot it on. Yeah, hang on for a minute, guys. You have to see the full screen. Yeah. Right. Okay. Thanks. Yes, Asanka, I will definitely share it. I had some technical issues, that's why I could not put it up, but definitely I will share the entire slide set. Not worry. Don't worry. Definitely I will share it out. Okay. So okay. See, strategic position is nothing but where are you now? Okay, where are you now? So ideally, your strategic position should reflect on your SWOT, right? Because your SWOT would tell you where are you now, what is your strength, what is your weakness, what are the opportunities, and what is the threat. Yeah, ideally. So that's your strategic position to work off it, right? So probably you use the right elements. Um, so think of that line. Yeah, don't try to narrow your ideas down. If AB coming to invest in Sri Lanka for powdered milk industry, what are the market potential? Fatima, I'm not doing the exam. You are doing the exam. So you have asked some excellent questions. You need to find the answers, Fatima. Like, I will not have any answers for that. The only thing I can tell you is like 60%, like what the case says, right? Which is true. 60% of our milk requirement is fulfilled by the powdered milk, right? Now, if you go back 20 years back in 2000s, okay, in 2000s, like we were like about 75%, 60%, 80%. Yeah, we were not like we didn't have liquid milk. Yeah, we had more of liquid milk being delivered by Elephant House for some time, long time back. After that, they stopped, and they had. Then you buy the milk from the milk board. Yeah. Then when the modernization came in, uh, they were able to give you only, like, you could see the capacity dropping was not new, it's old. So they were not be able to give they were the only company which was uh, manufacturing liquid milk, and you had that bottled milk. Uh, all those things have stopped now, right? All those things, bottled milk, like the uh, you know um, uh, they call it kalkiri. which you can keep it for a long time, right? It's not semi-partial, it's fully partial, right? So you can keep it for a long time. It's like the packets what you're having now. You can keep it for more than the time frame but you have it in the packet as well. Okay, you can refrigerate it, but then you can keep it for a long period of time. So in my view, Fatima, I don't I don't think that they're coming in to have powdered milk into Sri Lankan context. I'm I'm like, in my, what I'm thinking is like they might come and uh, join the liquid milk, which is the requirement, which is the requirement. So probably short term, on a short term, they might have, short and mid, they might have, they might be importing powdered. A small indication was there, which you might need to capitalize on that, stating that there was an opportunity and that opportunity didn't materialize. So probably they could rejuvenate that opportunity of exporting the same product and try to capture the market, the local market. They're given the competitor details as well, isn't it? Like, they have established brands and etc., and all those stuff they have talked about. So maybe coming in might be bringing in might have implications with the exchange rate fluctuations and things like that. My safe bet, I don't know, probably producing liquid milk, packing liquid milk and selling liquid milk here with that experience what they have, because they are good in that particular area. Yeah, so we have to wait and see, right? So go with different options rather than one thing. Yeah. Okay. Dilani, I think number one, you might have to see if they are going to come into Sri Lanka. Like, you're from Bangladesh, okay? So you're looking into Sri Lankan context. So probably that's why I gave you the Porter's diamond theory to look into the Sri Lankan per se, whether the Sri Lanka is capable. So 4 areas: factor conditions, demand conditions, structure, firm, and strategy, plus the supporting industry. So you need to do that particular analysis. That's one. Number two, you can look into the cage framework. That is also would support with details that might be able to use in your strategy with that information. Yeah. So those two would be fundamentals. Okay. Then you might have to decide whether you want to go work on a multi-domestic strategy or whether you want to work on a transnational strategy. Sure, not a global strategy that you will work on. So then which one would be that particular possibility also there, right? And then probably you might have to think about the risk factors, the type of things that you might have to mitigate. So there are so many areas that you might have to see when you're moving into. Think of you going into another country. What will you do? Same thing, vice versa. Yeah, reverse it. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, Fatima, you can use the Porter's diamond theory. That's what I was just saying. So, because you need to, because think that you're in Bangladesh, okay? You're in Bangladesh. So then when you're in Bangladesh, you need to analyze using Porter's diamond theory for Sri Lanka and understand whether the demand conditions are there, whether the factor conditions are there, whether the firm structure rivalry is there, whether the supporting industries are there. So you analyze from that particular point. Yeah. Yeah, obviously, SWOT your OT is going to be environmental analysis. That is going to be Sri Lanka environment. Yeah. Right. Let me get into this particular area, and then we can continue the chat to see. Okay. Just one by one, I'm going to work things out. I'm sure you all would have gone through this. I have dropped in as S and O and T and W to pick up your strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Fundamentally, we have there are many. This is the first time I'm saying repeating information in different topics and same information in different ways. Yeah, and also we have companies. We are talking about what do you call consultancy companies, and suddenly Mr. Ajit is very close to the independent director and asking him to present it to buy Frostbite. Yeah, so I'm bit confused with the scenario. It's good to get confused. Yeah, so that you would start thinking like in different formats. Yeah. So Dr. Ajit is capable person. You could see like he has already he has enough information. He has enough knowledge, theoretical knowledge, and also he has good practical exposure probably. And he have been teaching also in a graduate school for about 3 years. 3 years is a little time, but then still it's okay. Very much interested in creating Sri Lankan business brands, right? Then he has capabilities of coming out some innovative ideas and thinking, so that organization he has transformed certain organizations. So, and also he loves to be challenged. So a nice individual person. So you have somebody, this person might be a strength to an organization, if he's around, because with the right attitude, right? Olive Wyman, which operates in 31 cities. So probably there's an opportunity where Dr. Ajit can like strategic alliance once again. Okay. So have opportunity to move into those countries where new markets that he can go in, right? That is what is happening. Yeah. So they have fantastic knowledge about specialized expertise in business strategy, operation, risk management, technology transformation. Huge 6,000 professionals. So Sri Lankan chapter in 2023, amalgamating with PrimeGo team. So that's a strength for them to work things out. Adrian Gibb, Singapore chapter, Ajit's friend, that's another strength, whom they have studied together in Malaya University. Yeah. Although Ajit does not have any formal professional education, you could see they have used the same word for another person in the MBA as well. Yeah. The person does not have any professional education. So that means they have their basic education, not a professional education like what you all are doing, right? So the chartered accountancy is a absolute professional qualification, respected professional qualification to work things out, right? So that's something whether you consider as a weakness that you need to consider if you're looking at OVE as a organization. Okay. Sri Lankan chapter. So probably you could see cultural sensitivity, local adaptation. So the indication being given that working with the Asian market, that cultural sensitivity and new local adaptation is very important. Local adaptation is, if you're looking at multi-domestic strategy, is the local adaptation that we saw earlier. The transnational strategy gives you a combination of multi-domestic and aligning the global integration. So you need to think of the indication here is like a multi-domestic, give something relevant to the domestic people. Yeah, that kind of a indication that they have given here. So now these are the things that you have to consider, and when you argue, when you give evidence, now that's how you need to work on it. They're very well talking about the Sri Lankan market, Sri Lanka situation. Relationship and interpersonal connection play significant role in any aspect. Now that's one of the reasons that the power distance is quite good with the Sri Lankan context, because we maintain that relationship and interpersonal relationship connections are very, very important. And also it indicates that if you want to get things done at even at the higher level, that you must have the right connections to work things out. Yeah. So building strong relationship with local partners, clients, government officials will be crucial for their success. So similar, if it is a consultancy firm as understood in Sri Lankan context, that is how they should be working. So any organization who are working in also should have that similar concept. Yeah. We are committed to adapting consulting methodologies and approaches aligned with the unique needs and preferences of Sri Lankan businesses that will be essential for delivering value-added solutions. Strengthen our global footprint, diversify our client base, access new growth markets, skillful workforce, political cooperation offers significant potential for international firms seeking expansion opportunities. So you could see that Sri Lanka already, they are talking about if an international firm is coming in seeking an expansion. So this is where that you are going to get, like, you have skillful workforce with political corporations. So that means they could make connections. So invariably, that's what probably they are saying. Look, you come to us, we will look after what needs to be done. You have good factor conditions working, favoring in Sri Lankan side. Consultancy power for energy sector reforms and green energy. So already OE is having that experience. The pace of economic development expected to lift per capita electricity consumption significantly. Pretty good. That's an opportunity, so you need more energy. We know that Sri Lanka needs more energy. That's why we are going into new farms, work with different Indian organizations to provide electricity and so forth. Yeah. Energy transition will not only require financing for generation assets like solar, wind, offshore wind, and hydro, but also energy storage, transmission, upgrades, grid modernization, new emerging technologies such as hydrogen. Now, this is one of the reason which I like. I'm thinking of for you all to look into a little bit more about Ambaivala. Is this is one of the reason, and in certain other areas also they talked about this energy, renewable energy, and things like that. Yeah. So because they have that both elements linked together. The significant transition across the entire value chain, including the demand side, will require new investment, efficiency, innovation, and technology. So that means there is enough opportunity in working on these areas. Yeah. Conduct a study on background of milk boom. MB Bangladesh past 8 years has offered consultancy for the government, so that is also a plus point for them to work. Also, small modular nuclear reactor under construction for which Adrian and his team are in the process of preparing feasibility reports. So you could see that renewable energy is coming in. The power sector, they are emphasizing. Power sector is also required in Sri Lankan context. So reading something with regard to the power requirements, energy in Sri Lankan context in short, mid, and long term also might be helpful. Yeah. Expand your knowledge. Good to know what it works. Pretty interesting. I was a bit confused with some words, so I don't know whether I have got it wrong or whether my understanding is different. The dairy industry is going to grow only 2 to 3%, whereas your nutrient sector is going to grow triple than this. Okay, so think of that as well. So the volumes that you're looking at, if it is 2% by 2028, that's a target that they're looking at, and 3%, that's how you're looking at. And also they're talking about forecast demand increase in Middle East, Africa, and Asia Pacific. So if you have excess in Sri Lanka, now these areas also increasing, the demand is increasing. Yeah. So then probably on a short term, you could export. On a long term, you could set up facilities. Yeah. So that's how it works. High milk producers being Pakistan, India, Kazakhstan, China, Uzbekistan, and Japan. Now, Bangladesh being a low milk producing, is it a wrong word, or I don't know whether comparatively with the Pakistan, India, Kazakhstan, it's low milk producing country? I bit confused, so I'm not going to harp on anything, but then probably that's because like 78% that they have, they have already produced. So that is, therefore it is a lower milk producing country. Then I don't know what they call Sri Lanka then, because Sri Lanka we are only about 40%, right? So obviously we have an opportunity over there. You can, like, I'm marked as O's, so probably those could be listed as the opportunities for us to work, depending on the country and depending on the organization that we are evaluating. Yeah. Traditional market, formal process market model, both are there, right? 1.2 million dairy farms, 1.2 million dairy farms. So that means like they have enough people, 9.4 million people, directly or indirectly. 15 major companies. Artificial insemination has been quite successful over there. Cow's milk, 90%. Yeah. Sri Lankan, their formal dairy market includes farmer managed societies, small dairy cooperatives, district dairy cooperatives, dairy cooperative unions, so forth, quite formalized. You could see they get from cow and cow 82%, comparatively with Bangladesh, they manufacture 90%. Yeah. So with cow. So very quite similar structure. The capacities are much lesser, right? So that's where they're looking at. Now artificial insemination, you can see they got high quality cows. The milk has increased from 2 to 4.5 liters per day. Yeah. They have contributed 54,000 crores takas to the national economy in 2023, which is pretty good. Yeah. So all this information, what you have given about the farming. Continuation. 1.4 million liters per day. It produces 528 million. Twice up to 300 days. Now there is intensive and semi-intensive management system. I hope you all have just try to understand what that intensive and semi-intensive management systems are. It's no major secret. It is like, either your cows are confined and, their movements are restricted and they are in a closed thing, or you have let it out, in the farmyard where it walks and drinks and, that kind of a situation, right? Nuwara Eliya district, semi-intensive, Kandy district, intensive. So that might be due to the space criteria. So Kandy, you have intensive and semi-intensive both. Anuradhapura shows different pattern of cattle management. So there is no one, I suppose, it depending on the space availability, that, whether it is intensive or semi-intensive is the way forward. Yeah, is what they're looking at. Informal supply channel is milk. Yeah, it does not come into the commercial processes, and can be unpastured milk that is sold to final consumers. So probably I don't know where I live. There is a private guy who comes in the motorbike. He supplies milk to at a I think it's 1/3 of the price of the or 50% of the price, I think, of the liter is unpastured. So obviously you can't keep it long. It has to be the day's consumption or whatever. So which is like you're using half a liter, you can use 1 liter for you, right? That kind of a situation, right? 20% of the milk sold informal channel. You can see that. Low prices, that is because that you're not been tested. So that means if you're testing and with high quality, you can get better prices. Cows yield about 6 to 7 liters per day. Whereas in Bangladesh, you're looking at 4.5 liters per day. Yeah, so I'm need more information for me, because for me to make a decision, like whether it is during a certain period, whether it is our situation is pretty good, because 1.5 liters per day per cow, you're looking a big difference. Yeah. You can see that major bottlenecks, lack of adequate quantity and good quality of forage. That's where the problem with the Sri Lankan. It's very difficult to find. Milk production for lactation range 1,080 liters. Dry zones 1,820 per wetter hill areas. So this is one of the reasons that they look at the upcountry for it's pretty interesting, isn't it? Almost 80% to 85% that you have more production coming up. Yeah. Forage production is from the producers, average land holding of 0.5 to 1.5 acres. Then you can see the producers with feed concentrate supplied by the milk processors or an agribusiness feed company. Then milk processors will supply animal feed to producers and then deduct the cost from their milk checks. It's very interesting, isn't it? Like, in the Sri Lankan context, how this works. Yeah. Now these are quite similar to what MB did as well. Okay. MB as an organization, here the industry itself, these things are happening. So you can see the milk processors are MB, right? So whatever is happened in Bangladesh, what MB does, it's been happening in Sri Lankan context. So you are looking at a kind of a similar cultural element, the way the farmers have been managed, right? State-owned Milko, they have been pretty good. You can see a lot of irregularities, malpractices. Production capacity dropped from almost, it's 33% now. You're looking at to an entirely private joint venture, Cargill's, Amul, and they're moving on to that particular line. So that's a state we are in the dynamics now. Again, they talked about more of Sri Lanka. You can see the pieces they're talking in different topics they're talking. Other major players. Now this is what it was a bit of a confusing to me. Okay, they're talking about Lucky Lanka. They're talking about Nestle. They're talking about Lux Spray. They're talking about Rich Life. But they're not talked about Ambeola. Okay, I don't know whether it's another name coming up or whatever it is. Like, so, or they are completely forgot about Ambeola. I'm not sure, or purposely avoided Ambeola, or so it's a different. It's a thing that you need to think of. Yeah. Sri Lankans have become more health conscious. Can you see your factor conditions, your demand conditions? Now people are more aware. They would want to have a palpable appetite for dairy items such as milk, yogurt, and cheese. So you can see the Human Development Index that we are pretty good in the region. Educated customers. So that means that demand conditions are pretty good in Sri Lankan context. Yeah. The necessary is dairy producers to adapt modern technologies. So that means they challenge the consumers, challenge and tell them what to do, right? Urbanization, traditional dairy farm practices may face land constraints and competition from other land users, right? So we might have to see, already we have enough issues. Probably if you have followed, the people who have cattle down the east side of east part of Sri Lanka, they have a huge problem of taking them around, and they have to go across others' lands and things like that. It's war, it's fight. Yeah. Rias Bloom, 1980s. You can see 22 years converted into a PLC. The mission, you can see very clearly, okay, the mission was number one, dairy products to the masses. Number two, uplift livelihood of local dairy farmers. Now, for that's where when they're looking at the products to the masses, uplift dairy livelihood, that's where their fair pricing comes into play. Yeah. 14 registered companies in the sector manufacturing, supplying dairy milk, partial milk to the market. Yeah. Milkvita, Milk Bloom, Arong holds 80% market share. So at Milkvita, 50% of the market share. Comments 1973. They are given some details about Milkvita in detail. Yeah. So obviously it's backed by government of Bangladesh. Main products: liquid milk, ghee, butter, ice cream, sweet yogurt, soy yogurt, cream, chocolate, and cloves. Yeah, so they have side products. They have planted cloves. They have planted cocoa trees. Also, they are there, right? MB second largest. This is what I safe assumption of 18% of the market share, because they have about 80%. Then you are looking at different sizes. Dairy products like milk, ghee, butter, all produced. Modern facilities, 6 key dairy producing regions in Bangladesh. That is, with MB. Facilities boast state-of-the-art machineries, stringent quality measures, etc. Now, all those things are going to be absolute strength for MB. Yep. Pretty interesting. Corporate strategy, I thought it's only 1 page, but then it went on and went on. Yeah. So you can see the new chairman fastly coming in, and he brings new concept, new thinking. So they are looking at social welfare, environmental stewardship, community empowerment through farmer education, healthcare initiatives, to environmental conservation programs and rural development projects. Now, these are the things which are missing in Sri Lankan context. When I say missing, not to the extent what the MBA is doing over there, the other processes in Sri Lanka, whether they are involved, it's very little known. So it's ideal to read about their annual statements to understand whether they are also doing the similar things. Yeah. 2012, new chairman to be the leader in the dairy market, meeting consumer expectation while fostering sustainability, fair pricing, and dynamic growth. Okay. So he wants to be the leader. So probably we want to increase the market share. Uphill task to work through, because your gap is quite big, I believe, right? So then the mission comes in. You can see very clearly, which links up with as a corporate citizen. Produce premium dairy products that exceed customer expectations. So that means you want to delight the customers, okay? Taste, quality, nutritional value, committed to meeting growing demand, sustainability, ensuring fair pricing for both consumers and farmers. So now this is where I was talking about. Their strategy could be a hybrid model. They are looking at on the business level strategy, the hybrid model where price is lower with high quality product, because they want to make sure that it meets, or they want to give a better product than exceeding the expectation of their customers. Yeah. So consumers. So that's what they're looking at, I believe. Fostering dynamic growth. Interesting, because all these things have been they're talked about a little bit more further. Yeah, that's a most interesting part. Yeah, giving better life for people and promoting stewardship of our natural resources. So these 4 areas, the 4 pillars that they are talking about: consumer demand, right? Meeting the consumer demand. So high quality. That's what they are looking at. Yeah, high quality, various tastes and preferences, exceeding customer expectation. That's what they are. That's the word that they are using. Okay. So now, for them to be at that, now that's their major area. Fair pricing, again, like what I said earlier, they want to have both. So when you're talking about customer demand, exceeding high quality products, so high quality with right pricing, yeah, affordable pricing probably. So that's why they want to exceed customer expectation. So ideally, they are looking at a hybrid strategy to work off now. Yeah. Dynamic growth through innovation. Yeah. Expanding product offering. So looking for new products. So ice cream could be something interesting for them, because they don't have ice cream. Yeah. Strategic investment in R&D. That's what they want. In infrastructure and in marketing. Yeah. New opportunities, capitalizing new opportunities for growth while maintaining agility, adaptability, and rapidly changing market environment. So they are looking to capitalize on their own new opportunities for growth. Okay. So probably they are looking organic growth within themselves. Now, the reason my arguments, my wordings coming from the case itself. I'm not adding anywhere else. Stewardship, obviously looking into the future generation, looking into ecosystem. So probably the ideal situation with the renewable energy comes into and fits into this particular area very well. Chairman, son of founder, entrepreneurial. Now this is all strength for them. Yeah, lacks formal professional education, laser focused, remarkable acumen, knowledge of business inherited from his father, hands-on leadership style. You're talking about this leadership style. I believe you all would have searched about what this hands-on leadership style is. Hands-on leadership style is not a micromanaging style. Hands-off leadership style is not a micromanagement leadership style. Yeah, it is something else different. I have the slide for that for the next slide. So hang on for a minute, okay? Keen business instincts, fearlessly tackles challenges. So it takes up challenges. We saw at one stage that he is willing to be challenged. Yeah. Transformative power of passion, perseverance, and unwavering commitment to deliver results. Now, this hands-on leadership style, I've given you the links as well. So when you go on, click on the link that you can straight away go into that particular area. Copy pasting might not be helpful. So maybe on the PowerPoint itself that you might have to click on. So you could see where the hands-on leadership involves being actively involved in the day-to-day operation. So they are not going to just relax. Okay. Actively involved, so they know what's happening around, right? While providing also, that's a they use that word also, okay? While also, that means is actively involved. Vision is for a long term, okay? Vision, so that means is looking into the present and the future, right? Now, this is by working on modeling the behavior, what you should be expecting as a leader that you show there. Yeah. Effective hands-on leaders regularly communicate with core teams, coach on different businesses tasks, offer feedback to teams and individuals, not only teams, individuals also, work on developing new plans, approaches at the top, and then spend time on daily implementation throughout the company, inviting employee participating and initiative. So pretty good one, pretty good management style. So probably you could see a nice word over there, modeling behavior. So that means he wants others to follow the same behavior, yeah, same style. So others also to work on this hands-on leadership style. Right? So think guys, think on, work on. Advanced nutrition, formulated powders in bulk, formulated beverages, specialty nutritional ingredients, includes not just infant formula, but also pediatric and adult nutrition products. Now, this is a new area, guys, okay? This is a new area. You can say, I mentioned this earlier as well. World population is aging. So there would be demand. How much is milk industry growing? 2 to 3% we are looking at. How much is this growing? You're looking at 8% CAGR. So they are expecting even Asian region to also grow at the same rate. Yeah. And they are indicating that MB has enough expertise. They have enough expertise to enter into this category. We are building a portfolio of opportunity for the medium term with South Asia, with related new product development, work focus on adult nutrition. So they have a diverse dairy processing plant in Rangpur, focused solely on growing the highest margin segment. So that means they are deviating from their original plan of giving high quality product at an affordable price. Now they are looking at a different segment. So probably they are not going to work on the mass segment. They are going to work on the niche segment. Yeah, probably. Right. So, and whom are they going to partner with? Nestle. Now you talk business. Now you're talking business. So Nestle in Sri Lanka too, yeah? Nestle in Sri Lanka too. Um, just to give you the people who are working, just to have an idea, independent director Mr. Rifai Dawood is CEO's husband. He is a CMA. Food science graduate, Fatima. Good partner for chairman, because you can say um, the working exactly focusing on the 4 pillars: initiatives, environmental stewardship, social responsibility, economic viability. Yeah. Penetrate new markets, expand its reach, implemented targeted approach. Penetrate new market. So new market, probably nutrition products, new market, new product, diversification. They're tailored to the regional preference and regulatory requirements. All these things word to word picked from your case, yeah, not anywhere else. Back again, you can see they are bringing the Sri Lankan market again. Farmers who are involved in farmer managed societies are given a lot of subsidies. They are given cattle feed for a concessionary price, supply of veterinary treatments, supply of dairy development techniques. Government and companies together grant financial benefits like personal loans, etc., to encourage them. I could understand why they are mentioning it here, because that's a similar thing what MB is also doing. Yeah. So Riaz also looking at understanding and putting the farmers right on top and saying that, you know, the fundamental foundation lays in the hands of farmers. They are the people who are doing it. So you can say the key strategies employed by MB to winnow farmers, investment in farming practices by providing training, resources, incentives, and adapting organic farming methods. MB empowered farmers to cultivate high quality produce while minimizing environmental impact. So something more than what the Sri Lankan farmers do or farmers are getting, that they are working on it. Fairness and transparency. So that's where this pricing comes in, yeah? That's where the pricing comes in. So bargaining power of the suppliers. Bargaining power of the suppliers. Bargaining power of the suppliers, input from farmers. They are getting, so when they have the bargaining power of suppliers, which is farmers, so they are making them a partners, and also they are getting inputs from them. So you could see how they are linking, you know, the farmers into the system, soliciting feedback and incorporating their perspectives into decision-making process. So who would not want to support it? Tell me. Capacity building, community development, social responsible citizen. So very, I think the Sri Lankan farmers also would like them, no, or love them. Um, they've done something very different about land management. They, uh, you know, gave them, the for the land, rather than the farmers going mortgaging them into with the banks or anything on that nature. These people took over the deed and gave them uh, money, which helped the farmers to start up various things. And also, not only giving them money, they gave them advice, they gave them what to plant. Yes, they had certain issues because they didn't know, like, how to handle these other crops other than the normal crops what they have already got used to it. Now these exotic crops, now they have different grapes and orchards and vegetable patches and things like that. So it was not easy, but still they managed to work things out. Yeah, and that was something very unique at that particular time, which no one was helping the farmers out in that particular scale. Yeah, so farmers were a bit worried. Their land might be, if they don't pay the loan, that the land might go off or whatever it is. But then MB made sure that with the expertise, the advice, the knowledge, what they have, what they could provide, building the capacities, that the farmers could benefit as well. Yeah, on the long term. Um, they're talking about MB's quality process. Yeah. So this is where the control elements would come in, right? You can everywhere at stages of production, procurement or packaging, guarantee the purity, freshness everywhere. Okay. And they're talking about SCC, that is the somatic cell count. But you could see that in 2019 to 2023, it has increased. It is getting closer to that, the borderline area. So there's some kind of indication that's saying that the quality of the milk is reducing, or whether the process, somewhere issue with the process, because they are talking about sample of milk is collected by certified bulk tank milk grader, yeah, BTMG, then sent to the library. So sent to the laboratory. That BTMG might have an issue earlier in another case that they are talking about it. Yeah. So inspect, maintain milking equipment on regular schedule. Clean, sanitize milking equipment. Parlors according to grade A standards. Implement procedures to identify cows treated with antibiotics. Prevent contamination of, there you go, BTM. Yeah. So prevent contamination. Right. So there is a process and the records are available. Diverse product portfolio, MB, we saw that earlier also. Yeah, that's what I said. This case, what I've seen, like, certain things have been repeated with new ways, new formation. Yeah, series of flavored milk variant, nutrient rich yogurts, artisanal cheese from mozzarella, pure butter and ghee. Yeah. Now you can see back in early days, MB made an attempt to export vitamin-enriched milk powder to Sri Lanka. Brand Vitamilk was popular in Sri Lanka. However, the importer was not successful. So there had been a failure experience already. Exporting, yeah, that was exporting. So on overseas operations, you can have four ways, no? Export, multi-domestic, global, transnational. So 2021, this where they started that infant milk formula, and this where the problem also came in. Yeah, due to pandemic not available, so they found Professor Mark Chowdhury formulated and mirrored composition of a milk, breast milk. Yeah. So penetrating, they want to penetrate the market dominated by established international brands. So they needed a multifaceted marketing strategy. So they linked, got scientific endorsements, they got partnership with pediatricians, hospitals, medical practitioners, medical community. Yeah. So they spend 120 billion and 600 million return. So they were monitoring how the things are moving as well. So then the crisis hit. Yeah. I need to explain the crisis. You all know what the crisis is. So crisis, then they identified, yeah, that they had the good thing is this, now this is what this the good thing about the organization, they didn't run away. They stood, they said, yes, we accept there is an issue, there was a problem, this is what it is. Now this is that's a sign of good companies. Yeah. Even Toyota at the beginning, when they had this problem of vehicles recall, they didn't come out. Yeah, later they came out because they had to come out. Singapore Airlines, when their flight crashed, immediately the CEO came publicly. That's a strength of the good companies to work things out. Yeah. So the company acknowledged there is a problem. Yeah. So they acknowledge the transparency, accountability. So they made a promise that it did not happen. So they knew that these things could misfire with new innovation coming in. So then what they thought was, okay, fine, guys, a new entity to be created to have these innovations, because that is the reason I said, probably they are on a corporate the umbrella branding. So all the products must be on the same brand name. So that's one of the drawbacks in umbrella branding. Where umbrella branding, when you do that umbrella branding, if one product is failure, it will impact the other products also. Yeah, we could see very clearly. Concerns safety, efficacy of the company's products, not only one single, not only the infant formula, company's products. Yeah. So that led to panic among the parents and healthcare professionals. The parents are worried and healthcare professionals, everybody, the media coverage went, or they will go around. So you could see 350 million they had to spend. So they already had a 200 million budget. In addition, the marketing budget of another 150 million. This is something I could not catch it, because suddenly Dr. Ajit was interested to acquire. I also wrote it the same way. Dr. Ajit was interested to acquire. Whether Dr. Ajit was interested to acquire by himself, or whether Dr. Ajit has become a partner in, I don't know. I'm not sure how it worked. Anyway, so he has written to independent director, Riaz Dao, has informed the board the strategic advantage. Yeah. They don't have this product, isn't it? Like, they don't have the ice cream. They have yogurt, they have ghee, everything they have, that they don't have ice cream. And this company suits, the culture suits them. One of the biggest reasons the culture suits, because introduce high quality ice cream to the people of Bangladesh. Same thing, right? Similar concern, similar product, similar mission of MB also, right? Good quality dairy products to the masses. So that concern, that quality concern, that matches, because they are looking at high quality product to work things out. So initially they had traditional recipes and methods, recognition of delicious ice creams offerings. Yeah. So then they moved on, expanded, started off in Dhaka, and then they moved on. Yeah. 2000s, you can see leading ice cream brand in Bangladesh. Pretty interesting. And then they had some diversified product portfolios, different types in cones, cups, sticks, family packs, catering to different consumer preferences, occasions, innovative flavors, seasonal offerings to keep, changing consumer trends. That's pretty good, right? When I was reading this, it sounded me something like what we have in Sri Lanka, yeah? Carnival. They're not the leading ice cream brand. Not as a leading, it's one of the ice cream brands, yeah? Modernize its operations, incorporate advanced technology. So now they also geared, okay? They also now very well geared. Now then, similar time with MB, they also started this issue. MB embarked on during the crisis time. They embarked on new product development. Now these people affected by the turnover. So then layoffs, furloughs, business closures. Yeah. So then desperate measures. So Baskin Robbins want to take over in the sense like they want to buy share. Obviously, when you lose a fair concern, fair concern of the owner, yeah. So she was a bit worried. So she doesn't want to lose that, the personal touch and community spirit, so which have been with frostbite for long. So dilemma. So then there are certain figures being given, which you all will understand better. I'm giving you the background. You all will understand it better. Muhammad Ali says no. Sustainability. They're given two of the directors. Yeah. Two of the executive directors, Aisha Malik and Muhammad Ali, who have been there. You could see the Aisha Malik representing in so many relevant, important international and local organizations, and also Muhammad Ali, where he was in every decision and initiatives with renewable energy. So you could see the link with the CEO, yeah, adaptation, renewable energy, wind power, particularly wind power, to meet significant portion of their energy needs. So innovations coming in. Again, supporting, fostering the environmental stewardship. But there's some kind of an issue also. So probably in the whole case, I've seen two issues now. One was a technical issue. Yeah, my processes, something to challenge with my processes, something to challenge with how a product is being made, something to challenge with why we are not taken care of, double checking and quality check prior to the departure and things like that. The wrong formula, in other words. Number two, lacked organizational cohesion and effective leadership in driving sustainability initiative forward. Now that's something contradicting to me. That's something contradicting. Yeah. They are flat out to do this. They are flat out for environmental stewardship. CEO supports, but very clearly it says, lack of alignment. Yeah, they're saying something, but they're not doing it. They are so how do you put this right? How do you put this right? How do you make sure this is because even in their strategy, they are incorporating this element. So where is the issue? They're talking about limited financial investment, inadequate staffing, insufficient infrastructure. Something wrong. So because of that, whatever the Executive Director Mohammed Ali's initiatives in environmental stewardship, that is like providing training, resources, and support, they are getting delayed. There are setbacks. Then they are there to terminate. So they are thinking of the pillar 4 is not working. Something wrong. Why? What can you do for that? How can you manage that? Now, these are the questions that you need to ask. So the board, now this is the interesting part, okay? The number 9 is sustainability, then number 10, you are looking at the board. Yeah. So connected MB cow. Now, finally, they are bringing in the technology aspect of it here. And they are very clearly saying establishing cooperating vision mission. So is there something wrong with the earlier case? There's something wrong with that. The board has missed out because establishing corporate vision mission as well as philosophy of the company. Now, the philosophy of the company is the stewardship of the environment stewardship. Setting the aims of management and monitoring their performance. Have they missed something out? Are they missing something? Are they focusing on too much on their product and they have missed out the one of the key elements which MB believes? New committee for digitalization was established under Omar Ibrahim. So they are bringing in a high-tech collar kind of a aspect to the strap to the cows, so that will monitor health alerts, temperature, and it can be monitored from anywhere. Yeah, that's a beauty part. And now they are looking at connected MB cow. Right. So, guys, now you could see why that I don't want to commit myself also. Yeah. Two issues that they are looking at. One internal issue, and both are internal issues. One is on a technical perspective, the other one is on a management perspective. And they are saying the responsibility person is the board, because board has to implement the philosophy also. Board has to guide the philosophy as well. So in other words, what they are talking about. And you can see certain information repeated in different places. Interconnection. So that's why I try to put all those, you can see there are a lot of information about Sri Lanka, but in different places there was, right? So this is something pretty interesting, but you never know, okay? Believe me, you never know. It all lines indicates that, probably expansion into Sri Lanka, MB expansion into Sri Lanka, they might scrap it out because they have said South Asia. So it can be any other part, right? Bangladesh, good relationship. Maybe the climatic conditions might work. Small market, 500,000 people, Maldives, or export from here to Maldives. Yeah. So these are small things that it could work out. So looking at what is on, looking at what is available here with you. Okay, looking at the data. Have a very open mindset. Don't try to block your mind saying, okay, this must be the question which is coming in. Then you block everything else. You don't see the other openings. Okay. What are the options available for them? Because as I said, like it's a three things. Okay. It's three areas. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? Right. So now you don't know where do you want to go, but you have done certain things which indicates where do you want to go. So you want to become the market leader. Very clear now. Okay, that is what they're talking about. So market leader in Bangladesh. Yeah. So then probably you might have to do certain things in Bangladesh. And also now you're looking at diversification strategies. So you're looking at new ventures because your R&D is very strong. So you look at new ventures. You're looking at nutrient segment. Obviously, valid reasons. CAGR is 8%, whereas your dairy is only 2 to 3%. And definitely you're looking outside Bangladesh because by 2030 you're fulfilled. So you do a market penetration, you have a marketing strategy, you want to work on becoming the market leader in your home country. Definitely you're going to work on that particular line. On a short and mid-term, you are looking at South Asia. There is an opportunity, big opportunity in Sri Lankan context. The culture is quite similar. The way the farmers been treated are quite similar. The pillars of MB matches the requirement how you have to operate in Sri Lanka also. Giving preference, giving respect to the farmers, not only as just suppliers. Your capacity building concern, your environmental protection concern, all these things coming up. So there is an opportunity on that particular perspective as well. MB is ready. MB has finances, they're good. I believe, you believe, you have to check it out. So expansion is possible. So there is simply because it's only 40% is produced in Sri Lanka. Rest is milk powder, but milk powder conversion into milk powder is also now moving out. People are slowly transferring themselves into liquid milk rather than powdered milk. So that is also possible. So these are the options available. So write down, guys. Okay. Looking at the case, what would be the options that MB would have? Then you prepare yourself accordingly. Yeah. Don't stick to one. Have many. Like what I said, have many options. Because these are all possibilities. These are all possibilities that would work through. So when you have these possibilities which is working for you, then you need to have, because your unseen could be totally different, believe me. Unseen could be totally different. Yeah. So then it might be a totally different scenario coming up. So do not block yourself into one scenario. Keep it open. Have these elements in, and then approach when your unseen comes in. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very valid question, very valid, suggestion, Kosala, and it's a very good thinking. The only thing what I am bit I am hang on for a minute. Okay, what are the new to be the leader in the dairy market, meeting consumer expectation while fostering sustainability, fair pricing, and dynamic growth. Yeah, that's a vision. True. I totally accept what you're saying, and even the mission talks about mission is to produce premium dairy products, exceeded consumer expectation, taste. We are committed to meet growing demand, sustainability, ensuring fair pricing, both consumers. Yeah, uh, I would totally accept what you're talking about. So probably, if they are looking at to be the leader, the market, dairy market, um, so they could whether they are working on Bangladesh only or they are working on South Asia, they are working on worldwide. I'm not sure. Yeah, so you could take it on that aspect, but then the possibilities are there. Yeah, possibilities are there. I am with you. I'm with you with your view. I'm with you because I also had the same view. Because it doesn't match your suitability aspect of it. Okay, dynamic growth. Maninder, good question. Dynamic growth is faster. Dynamic growth is quicker. Change. Yeah. So your organic growth is by yourself. So dynamic growth could be mixed up, but it's a quick growth. That's what they're looking at. So a quick growth could be through a merger or acquisition also, right? Because the moment you merge with somebody, their market share is also your market share, right? So generally they don't use it, but if you have seen that on a dynamic growth somewhere else, then probably that's how it differs. Yeah, it's a quick growth. Yeah, good question. Good question. Uh, Bangladesh producing 124 million liters. That's something. Is it on a the volumes are correct? So 528 528 yearly versus 124 yearly in Bangladesh. The volumes are correct. Just check it out, Dilan. Whether it is daily, whether it is monthly, whether it is weekly. That's it. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Uh, So is that the requirement? Is that the requirement is that only 124 million liters? Hang on for a minute, guys. Try to be a moment, guys. I'm just checking for that. Yeah. Uh, yeah, Maninda, that's a very interesting. Yes, I saw that. That's a very interesting question. Uh, Probably I have no answers right now for that because I'm also not sure. Maybe Bangladesh demand is much lesser than the Sri Lankan demand. Yeah. So or they are missing out something. Um, Stating that they are already 78%, they are already covering out. So that's what I said. Like they are used the word saying Bangladesh is a low milk producing country. So whether they are actual demand with that particular population for the milk is only that amount. Yeah. For Sri Lankan concern, that we use more milk than Bangladesh, and that's why maybe that we are manufacturing, we are at 40%, which I'm not sure. Yeah, which I don't have any information. But you're absolutely right by comparing these two. For that, only one answer I can give you. Maybe Bangladesh demand is only that, and that's why they are producing. So beyond that, even they can produce, it's not going to be worth for them to be there in Bangladesh. Yeah, so that's a maximum that they can grow. Just work out the turnover of the pricing that they are looking at, and maybe see whether you can find something else. Yeah. Is the milk price Sri Lanka controlled by the government? No. Unfortunately, I don't think so. Milk prices, milk liquid ones, I don't think Sri Lanka government controls. It's a demand and supply and market controls. That's why you can see like from 150 rupees, 160 rupees, now it has gone to 560 rupees. There is a kind of a on the milk powder, there is some kind of a invisible hand having a control on the pricing. That is what I feel. Because government imposing tariffs would change the pricing also. Yeah. So on that way, there may be a slight control on pricing on powdered milk, but not on the liquid milk. No, I don't think so. Right. So I will post these things across to Mr. Aruna immediately, and make use of it. Enjoy working. I know it's your exams are getting closer. So good luck, guys. Take care and be safe. Don't get into this. Cover your nose. Use the mask. Bad flu is going on. So don't get sick for next couple of days. So that's very important, because that when that hits, it's you hard. So please take care. If you're traveling on public transportation, please protect yourself. There is no choice. Don't go as if you're going through that COVID period. So take care. Yeah. Good luck, guys. Take care. God bless.